So I came out to the farm today to move some bunks, get another stock tank set up for the bull underneath the fence where I put one of my hydrants. And the cow, I was feeding hay after dark a couple nights ago. Got in a hurry, thought maybe I'd let them in to one side of the lot where I'd filled the water line in, and so they could drink out of the tank instead of going all the way down to the pond. And apparently that was a bad idea. I should have waited till I did what I initially was going to do. I got in a hurry, forgot to put a thing on there I was going to put on there. I was going to put one of these little carabine things on there. This one happens to be, the springs broke. I have to find another one, but I was going to put one of these on the hydrant, on the one that was an older hydrant that the handle comes up pretty easy on. The new one, a little stiffer, but I'm gonna put some on it anyway because they, I'll show you what they did. So when I got here today, all the cows were standing in this lot here. They've since been booted out, but let them in here a couple nights ago. I was late feeding hay, and thought I'd let them drink out of this tank over here instead of walking down to the pond. And forgot that I was going to put something on these hydrants to keep them from possibly turning them on. And let them in here, not thinking, and come out today, and guess what? This hydrant over here was wide open. And of course, I was kind of excited because I didn't have to wade in mud to feed them cubes in this trough, but as you can see on this other side, you know, this hydrant right here was wide open. There's water running down this side, down through the gate, across here, all the way down front of the troughs, right where I need to walk. Clear over there. I think it got over there, and eventually, looks like it eventually started coming out, going that direction, so it quit running that direction. Either that or I just can't see it any further than that fence. But yeah, I had to run clear down through that gate, down a cow path, clear down there. See that wall? You can see it clear through that fence, clear down that cow path. So I got to put something on that. Little carabiner I just showed you a little while ago is not going to work. This little dude, well, it might work on this one. It wouldn't work on the one across the way. Nope, it won't work on that one either. So I'm going to have to find something else before I let them back in here. Anyway, luckily I came out here first. I came out here to put something on this hydrant so I could fill this tank up because I knew they'd have it drank down about halfway. Since then it's filled up, but I had a little 5-inch piece of hose that I bought at the local hardware store. Is either that or this 45, and this 45 worked pretty good, so I decided I'd put it on there, and that'll work for this winter. The tank was already full when already here and full of water before I put this hydrant in. That's just kind of where it came out. And so this summer, when it's empty, when the tank's empty, I'll take and move it over where it's underneath the hydrant. Yeah. How you doing, Tupador? What you doing? Huh? You ready to move over one? So I got the other tank filling up. I probably ought to go check on it, but I'll level the ground. I'll show you that. But old Tupador here, he's going to move over one stall basically in the lot here to where his hay's at, and I'm going to open it up to where he can get to a tank over there. I'll show you here in a minute. Something else I didn't tell you is it was dark when I was working on this too, but so I didn't film this, but I went ahead and took the skid steer and got all the rest of this water line covered up down through here in the dark, so I didn't get home that night till like 7:40. It gets dark at like 5:30 now since they changed the time back. So yeah, I need to straighten this panel here that the old bull kind of mangled up last winter. Pretty good water pressure when you only got one hydrant going. But yeah, it's already about half full. Yeah, it's that little. So I got this all leveled out. Got the dirt all leveled out around there, and got this tank back in there. So the bull can come in here. I'll feed him his cubes over there like I did last winter. He can come through there, and he can go. Actually, he'll have more space than he had last winter. He'll be able to go out there in that lot out there. Last winter, I wasn't sure if I didn't know his temperament, whether he'd try to get out or anything like that. He was new, so yeah. So now he'll be able to get out here in this other lot where I got this bell out there. Last winter, he just kind of stood in that corner, and it rained a bunch, and he just basically stood in mud. So hopefully, he can stand out of the mud somewhere with a little more space. And then I'm going to let them. I'm going to put all the weaning calves, all the heifers and steers that need weaned, I'm going to put over there on this other side. But I need to change out some bunks, make some little, well, there's a bunk right over here that I fed the bull in last year. I think they can reach the center of it better than they can, or more of them can get around it than they can. There's one of those big bunks over there. So I'm going to move it over there where those are at. Probably move one of those out for the cows and put it on the south side of that hay shed for a windbreak. And the cows can hang out there. And I can come in through a gate on the east side over there and get hay out of the east side of the shed, because I had a little problem even this year. I tried to get a bale out of there after it rained and just can't hardly get in that west side of that shed. We stuck a bunch of rocks in there and it just pushed them down the ground. So it's gonna I'll have to get a lot more gravel, a lot more rock put in there on this side to be able to get in there after it rains. So I'll get hay out this other side, and the bunks will be right there close, and I'll be able to just put it right in there. Either that, or I'll go through the patch. There's another gate on the other side of that patch I can go through and get to the other hay shed. Probably, well, more than likely, I'll probably get it out of there first, actually, because I kind of want to leave their windbreak there as long as I can, so I'll probably get it out of the other hay shed. So I couldn't find nothing to go through there. I got all this stuff I've drug out of the shed, trying to get something that I could put on. Well, this one was going to be a little more permanent for that one across the way that has no tank under. It's just there, and just in case I someday put a tank there. But I had this one here that had a cotter key on it. I thought, yeah, that'd be nice. But nothing will go through the hole of that thing. So I just twisted some wire on there for now. And on this one over here, on the other side. So as I was saying earlier, from a place you couldn't see what I was talking about. So anyway, that other shed that has most of the hay in it is over there across the way. So I can go through the gate beside it, go through this patch out here on the other side of this pen where I feed them cubes. There's a gate over there on that corner of that patch. I can go out there where they're at, come into the back side of that hay shed and get hay out of there, put in the bunk, or I can get them out of that hay out of that shed there. Probably get out at least one side of that shed to start with, because you never know. Depending on how the winter goes, I could end up moving the bunks back over here where I had them when it got really cold last winter. And if I leave one row in there, that'll leave a windbreak there, or if I can, as long as I can anyway. But I'll have to patch the gate or the fence over here where I run the water line through. I gotta put some panels back over there on the other side of those other side of that big tree there. I had to cut a hole to run that water line. So I gotta patch it back up. I'll have to put something around the hydrant I put down there in the middle before you get to the water meter. I know you probably can't see it, but I had to put some panels or something around that before I could let them in there. So right now I'm just trying to avoid letting them in there, and I'll just run them. I'll just go through that gate right over there, that you can see right over there. Kind of the arch goes over and down, so that's right there. So I can run hay from that shed over there down through this gate, and I'm going to put 2 bunks right over here on the other side of that shed for a windbreak. And depending on how far the hay goes to how much I'll take out of each one, but yeah, if I end up taking too much out of that one and it doesn't serve its purpose as a windbreak, I'll have to fix things up over here where I can put them back over here on this side and feed them over there, and we'll have a windbreak from that with that shed. And actually there's a little bit of a shed left over here on the end that they can kind of get underneath, part of them anyway. Anyhow, I'm about run out of time for what I wanted to do today. I'm kind of decided I'm just gonna go give these guys their cubes, see if I can maybe get the bull situated where he needs to be, so I won't have to fight him tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I will move some bunks. So as always, the sun is never in a good spot for me to talk, but yeah, tomorrow I'll try to move the bunks. It's already getting pretty late, so I'm not gonna put cubes in those troughs like I normally do, because I didn't bring my mud boots, thinking I didn't need them. So I'm going to take some cubes down the pasture and feed them their cubes down there. And they should have enough hay out there to get them by until, well, we'll just go look, get them by until tomorrow for sure, not the next day. But Saturday I don't plan on being out here, so either I feed them another bale tomorrow. Well, probably tomorrow. If I move get the bunks moved around, I'll probably just put hay in some bunks, and I won't have to worry about them for a while. Kind of hard to tell where they're at when you roll the bales out on the ground, but a bale lasts them. I've been making it last them 4 days, but so I have this bunk. See, like I say, I'll move them over there a little ways, kind of for a windbreak. This bunk, and then I'll move one of those bunks over there, which we actually use those for kind of a wing to run the cattle into the sorting pan over there, but probably move one of those. Then we're gonna go out here, see if they do need any hay, or how they fared. It's been two nights ago they gave them hay, so we'll just see how much hay they got left here. Yeah, the water went quite a ways. Who knows how long that's been on? It could have been on from 2 nights ago for all I know. But yeah. Been on for a long time. Feel like, yeah, just ran right down the old cow path here. I don't know how far. Kind of got me curious here. Well, it kind of looks like it went uphill there a little bit, but yeah, started going down that way. Flooded this whole area. Yeah, a lot of water. But yeah, they yeah, a little hay there. They could eat, I guess. I don't know, they cleaned it up better than they normally clean their bells up, and that was only 2 nights ago, so I don't know if they thought it was colder and they needed to eat more or what, but should get water over here even. Well, I might change my plan. I may go ahead and At least put one bell out. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know why they want in here so bad. There ain't nothing, got water, but I opened the gate back up because I wired these two hydrants where they can't turn them on. But I'm gonna go see if I can kind of fix this bull's panel that I showed you earlier, and maybe I can get him over at his side and go ahead and move a bunk and put a couple bells in out there for the cows. Here's the other thing I bought. I was saying, a little 5-inch hose extension thing. I thought either that or that 45. That 45 looked like it worked just fine, so I'll probably take this back because I don't need it no more. Thought it might work during the summertime to put on the float, but it's too stiff for that. So James here. You're watching The Poor Farm. If you like these videos, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.